I often talk about how important it is to visualize relationships as the foundation of any kind of success that you see in your life. And keeping that in mind, I want to start off this video with a very important point. Remember this: people buy from people. And when you want to actually see a relationship and take it to a really great level in your life, you need to remember that everything that you want in your life, it comes from relationships. And to talk about this very important concept and how to build strong relationships using three simple tips, we have with us Dr.
Alfons.vansteenwegen.
Dr. Alfons van Steenwegen. He's from Belgium and he has over 40 years of experience in the field. He's a couples therapist, a sex therapist, and he's also a public speaker and an author of the book, The Good Enough Couple.
Good Enough Couple, yes.
So it's my privilege to have you here on this channel and also have you share your years of experience and knowledge on this very important topic, because I've been reinforcing on this channel many times how important it is to have a good relationship and to basically use relationships in the way they are meant to be used, and to not only improve our own lives but also the lives of other people. So could you share with us three simple tips that could actually help us negotiate or deal with relationships that we either have with ourselves or that we have with other people in a better way?
Yes, the first thing I think that's very important is to be conscious that in every relationship, also in a loving relationship, there are a lot of differences. And in order to cope with these differences, it's necessary to talk with each other, even if that is difficult. Because I think that when it is difficult, it's really important to do it. And by talking, we create common meaning. We create dual constructs. That means that we together are making the words for our living together. That's the first thing.
It's funny because we deal with so many of our own relationships on the foundation of assumptions.
Yes.
And that creates the foundation for a lot of problems, essentially. And something as simple as talking. How do you find out whether there is someone who's facing a problem with you? If you're facing a problem with someone else doing something, how do you negotiate that? You talk.
Yes.
It's so simple.
But very important is the way we talk, because a lot of people in the relationship are telling you are this or we are that. And very important is to keep it to myself, that I tell something about myself. So messages wherein I tell about my feelings and my experiences are very important in living together relationship.
So when we go ahead and do this kind of talking, we need to use I statements or I messages that I think, I feel, I believe. And I've reinforced this message quite a few times. When it comes from a position of I, it becomes my opinion.
Yes.
Versus you make a lot of generalized statements,
yes.
It kind of takes away.
Not only my opinion, but especially more my experiences and my feelings. That's very important.
So we've understood that talking or coming from a position of I is so important. What else can we do to actually move a little bit ahead with this concept of using our own power to improve our relationships? What else can we do?
Yes, the second thing to me is to empathize. And I mean with empathy a very special thing, that is that I try to understand your feelings and that I value your feelings. So I will, when you say something, say to you, if I understand you well, you are feeling like that and that, and then I ask if I'm right. And if you say then yes, then I think we have started a communication on a deeper level.
That's very interesting, because often in any relationship that we're in, be it a business relationship or a relationship where we're being mentored by someone or a romantic relationship, we often run into a roadblock because we often fail to validate the other person's feelings.
Yes.
And this is such an empowering way to do it, by actually communicating and saying, do I get you right? Do I
Yes.
understand you correctly?
Yes.
So when you put it like that, I think the way you say it, that the empathy comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, people often ask this question, how do I be more empathic?
Okay.
This is exactly how you do it.
Yes.
You keep asking, you keep talking, you keep sending the message across. And again, it goes back to avoiding making a lot of assumptions about.
Yes. And then the third thing, it's also very important, that is, if we have a difference about what we will do together, and this difference is there, that we try to negotiate. And to negotiate well, there are two things very important. First, to put the difference on table. I want white, you want black. And if the difference is on table, it's easy to find solutions. But the second problem is that a lot of people are giving in too quickly. So we should be very careful and only give what we are able to give. And then we will come to an agreement that's better for the both of us. That's negotiation.
I think it's a quality that is developed over time, this art of negotiation. Maybe in future videos we can have more content coming out on this particular topic of negotiation, because again, in any relationship, negotiation forms the foundation of how you move forward. And one of the things that you mentioned about making differences very clear, many times things are not to our liking, and we're left in terms of how we want to move forward, we're left with a roadblock. Now, how do I get past this? Could you talk a little bit more about how can we make differences very clear to other people, that I come from a different place or I think a certain way? How can we negotiate past these differences?
Well, by what I said that putting the difference on table from both sides is very important. And then being conscious that we are in an equal relationship, that's also important. Because if someone has the power and the other not, that's not a negotiation. A negotiation means that we are both on the same level.
Wow, I think that it's putting it very simply, but the impact is so huge. One of the things that you mentioned today while you were delivering your presentation was about how we view relationships as a hierarchical relationship versus something that comes from a place of equivalence, or we view each other as equals. We do not see, we have differences, but we look past the differences and we see how we can work together.
Yes, that is a position that we take. That we are different, that's a fact. We are different, so to speak, in everything. But the assumption that we make, and that is an ethical position, is that we are equal in value. So at that moment, we are both able to speak, to take positions together.
I think that really puts a lot of impact again in terms of what it means to make a relationship work. So putting all of this together is so essential if you want to build a strong relationship and also take it forward, because relationships are what make people and also move people. And if you're looking to actually do this and take your life forward, remember that relationships again form the foundation of every single thing that you will need, do, or become. So keeping all of that in mind, once again reinforcing all three of the points that you've mentioned for us. Number one, we need to keep talking.
Yes.
Talk to the people around you. You're not sure, don't assume. Talk to them, try and find out exactly what is going on with that other person. And that moves into number two, which is empathy, where you ask for confirmation. You look at it from their position by actually asking them, clarifying, and actually think critically about what you say or what you do. How does that actually impact the other person? And finally, the third and probably the most important thing that we need today in terms of business relationships, romantic relationship, mentorship relationships, or even a relationship where you need to get into a cab. Something as simple as that, where short-term relationships need to be considered. Remember that negotiation is the foundation of how you will move forward in any relationship. So, putting all of this together, if you're looking for more content like this, not only to build stronger relationships, I would recommend that you read Dr. Alphonse's book, which is The Good Enough Couple. So I will leave a link to that down in the description box below. You can go check it out. And also in future, I would like you to keep in mind that relationships are what make you. So don't take any relationship that you have either with yourself or with other people for granted. Relationships are everything in life. And if you're a rugged individualist, you're someone who likes to do everything yourself, you're not going to go very far. Remember this statement: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with other people. So keeping all of this in mind, if you found this video useful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, comment down below and tell me what you thought about this video. What was your biggest takeaway from this video? What are you gaining from this content? I want to know. Comment down below. And if you have any questions, leave them down there as well. And of course, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, and check out all of the videos that I have for you down below. Remember, we are dedicated on a very regular basis to making you the best version of yourself and having you perform like a champion in every single area of your life. Looking for all of that? Check out all of the videos down below. And of course, the playlist that I made on emotional intelligence. Hit the I button, go check that out. Once again, I would like to thank Dr. Alphonse for taking the time out to actually come here and talk to us about all of these amazing things. And remember that relationships are as important as we are to ourselves. This is Vikram signing off, and I will see you in the next session.